Hello everyone, I'm Tom Baker and welcome to another edition of the Tom Baker Show. We are coming to you live from the Batesville Civic Center in Batesville, Mississippi, where the 35th annual O'Reilly Auto Parts National Indoor Kart Championship will take place Friday and Saturday. This show being recorded on Thanksgiving as we get set for one of our biggest fields of karts ever. This is the world's largest indoor kart race. To my right is my co-host and the co-voice of this particular event, Hayden Benson, a former racer in the event, and to my left is another racer, one of the hottest racers in go-kart racing right now on the dirt side of things. Cole Heward is with us, and we'll get to Cole in a moment. First, Hayden, this, again, the world's largest indoor kart race. Talk a little bit about why this is so big and give us a little bit of a picture of just how big it is.
Well, this event started back in 1990 with Thunderdome and ended up at Tunica, and then started here in 2007 or 2008 at Batesville. And this has been one of the biggest dirt karting races in the country for many years and
decades.
And it's all about the slot machine, right? And we talk about different motorsports and sprint car racing, late model racing, how they've got the Knoxville Nationals, and late models have World 100, the Dream, midgets have Chili Bowl, and here we are at Batesville, and that's what we have in dirt karting.
That is a great comparison, too. And, of course, the Thunderdome in Memphis, Tennessee, no longer there. They started in an old pole barn on the Memphis Fairgrounds, went to Tunica in 2001 to the brand new arena there, and then here to Batesville in 2008, I believe. And this, of course, the 35th edition, my 25th as the voice of the event, which is kind of crazy. But so much to unpack here as we'll get Cole involved in a moment. But talk a little bit about the entries, the size of the field. Give us some statistical magnitude here for this event.
Yeah, we've had really two primes of the event. 2002 to 2007 at Tunica was really big back then. Averaged right around 200 or 12 to 1,300 entries. Second prime has come here at Batesville from 2020, when they upped the purse and made it 3,000, and now it's gone up in the elite classes 100 per year, and this has been the prime, the 2020s. 2020 now, and this year we're looking at maybe a record-breaking entry number. Trying to get over that 1,500 mark. 1,504 is the record, and Scotty Reed has already told us that expecting over 1,400 entries, which is massive.
Yeah, it's just going to be crazy. We're going to get close. I don't know if we'll break the record, but we're going to get close. Cole Heward, we'll bring you in on this. You are one of the hottest racers in all of dirt karting right now, and your stats here over the last few years. First of all, Hayden, talk about Reed Cole's stats. It's incredible.
Man, I don't even know where to start with his, and he's only been here for 3 or 4 years, and the first ever driver to win 3 elite classes, and he did it last year on Friday and won over $10,000 on Friday. What'd you win for the weekend?
I think by myself after Saturday, it was a little over 12, I think, 12,000.
Wow.
I mean, absolutely insane. And he's won 6 of the last 9 elite classes that he's entered, 6 career slot machines. I mean, the list goes on. And right now you're coming off of 3 really big wins and really incredible year so far.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys for having me here today.
Of course.
And, yeah, it's just me and Dad's definitely his favorite race of the year. He just loves indoor racing, and I do too. I mean, it's super racy. And I didn't, until you told me those stats last year, one of the last couple weeks, I never really thought about how incredible it was, because I didn't know I was the first person to win 3 on the same day, or any of those incredible things that you're talking to me about. And it just takes so much work. It dates months and months back, and it's just there's not a lot to say about it.
What does the prep for Batesville look like compared to other events?
Well, most of our racing throughout the summer is Burris racing, and we'll have a couple Maxxis races like the Big O and
Tire
Preludes.
brands, for those who don't know.
Yeah, sorry, tire brand. And AJC came out with some tires, and we ran those earlier in the spring. And so with it being Burris most of the time, we have to usually try to run one other Maxxis race just to, get a feel. But this year the Big O is where we ran that, and he's been working on tires for this race since probably September. I mean, we scuff. Some people scuff earlier or later. I mean, we just scuff when the weather's right and the time's right, and then there's sometimes you prep weeks or months out and roll stuff, and it's definitely, to start for the race, definitely goes at least 3 months.
I was going to ask you about that because this race, for those who don't know, dirt karting is obviously spread across the United States, and there are a number of signature races, but this is the event. This is the granddaddy. 44 classes over 2 days, 22 classes a day in competition here, 1,400 entries from all across the country. And it's not only the biggest indoor event, but it's one of the only indoor events where I feel like you have to put in a lot of extra effort here. The Golden Slot, which is basically this event's equivalent to the Golden Driller, we have the Bronze Slot Machine trophy that is coveted. So I want to ask you, when it comes to the tires, is there a magic potion? Because I feel like every year it's different because the track changes.
It's definitely different. He's done a little bit of this or a little less of this throughout the years, but I'd say in 2022 was our first actual year. It was the second year here, but it was the first year that we won here.
Okay.
And in 2020 we had somebody do stuff for us, so he didn't really know what was going on.
Yep.
And then we came back. We skipped 21, came back in 22, and he just talked to people throughout the year and kind of tried to get an idea. And that's a good thing with connections. So we got a good idea, and we came and we did good. And then in 2023, he tried to replicate pretty much everything. And then the track was, it was a little different here and there. And we ran half junior stuff and half senior stuff, and we still did really good. And then last year, he kind of went back to what we did towards 2022 and eliminated what we were doing in 23, as we didn't do as good that year. And it just clicked so much. I mean, there was definitely some luck in it last year, but we still qualified top 3 in pretty much everything, and he just had it, he had it dialed in from the start. And
qualifying is such a big deal here, and especially now that we've only got one round and you've got to put it in the top 20. For you, what's your goal for qualifying? What's the furthest back that you feel like you can win from? Do you feel like you got to go into qualifying to get a top 5, top 3 pole?
Me and him always talk about, here you can probably race from the top 5. Even if you start second, it's hard just because going into the first corner, you don't know what it's going to do and what behind you is happening and in front of you. And so thankfully last year, most of the qualifying was first and second, a couple thirds, and I think a fourth. And the furthest back you can win, it just really depends. A lot of the races last year, like the elite ones, went green to checkered, maybe 1 yellow. And then in the junior stuff, they have a lot more yellows, so you just try to get 1 or 2 every yellow. But if you're going to start 4th or 5th and it's going to go green to checkered, you got to go right away, and your stuff's got to be really good, because if somebody's just as good as you and they're starting out front, every time you pass somebody, it knocks a couple tenths off, and then it turns into a second or 2, and it's just that's it from there.
So you really do have to be aggressive from the outset, but you don't want to be too aggressive and take yourself out before, or cost yourself a win just by being. Again, for those unfamiliar here, we're going to have 50, 60 entries in some of these classes. We start 20 in the main event. There's 1 round of qualifying. That's it. You get about 4 laps, take your best lap, and the top 20 qualifiers are the ones who start the race. So qualifying is so critical here. Yeah. It's almost more tense, I would think, than the race, because you can miss by 1,000th of a second.
Right. It's because I remember they used to do they take 10 from the first round, and then they do
Yeah,
the
do
second
2
round,
rounds.
and they
Yep.
take 10 more, which
It's hard to do that with 1,500 entries.
yeah,
now.
it's just, and you can be. I mean, you try to think of 10 of some of the best people that are going to be here. There's not just 10. There's more than 10.
Yeah.
So it's hard for, it's hard to stick it in 10 in every class that you're in. So I just like 20 better because I think it goes a little quicker. That, and then they give you 5 laps. So when you're out there, and they put, I think 4 or 5 of us at a time out there. And I think there was one last year where I ran 2 laps, caught up to somebody. You still have the first 2 laps, and then you have 2 laps after that. So you can drive it pretty easy the first lap or 2, drive it pretty hard, and then if you still haven't, got where you want to be, try to really set it on the last lap. As if 2 laps, you really got to focus and, get those.
Okay, so what is you've had an extraordinary amount of success in such a short time. What do you attribute that to? Because it's hard to come here to Batesville and be good almost from the beginning. I mean, there are folks who have done it, but I mean, you're 17 years old, so you're coming out of the juniors. You've been in the seniors for a couple of years, but you've had such a great amount of success in so short a time. What do you attribute that to?
There's so many different people that help. I mean, first of all, Dad, because he's just the tire guy. He works on the go-kart. Me and him work in the shop for countless hours throughout the week. But he's the main man when it comes down to it. He's in the trailer. He's in the shop. As soon as he gets home from work, if it's 1 o'clock or 5 o'clock, he's out there till 10 or 11 o'clock working on stuff. I mean, he loves it almost more than I do, and I love it through the sky. And it's just incredible to have somebody, especially whether it's your dad or just somebody working on the go-karts or a tire guy, to love it as much as you do. And then a few years ago, we got hooked up with Mike Dickerson, and Mike has really helped.
Wily veteran that he is.
He's really helped me as a driver. He's helped Dad definitely with tires and knowledge moving from juniors to seniors, but he's really helped me as a driver because, Dad's never raced a go-kart, so it's hard to come off the track and tell him what it's doing. And he'll be like, I don't really know what you're talking about. So I'll kind of talk to Mike, and he'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I'll tell Dad what I mean when what I'm trying to explain, and just transfer it over. But those two, definitely some of the biggest help. And there's 30, 40, 50 sponsors, people that help, people from hometown. Charger's one of the biggest ones. Jason Deitch Trailers with United Trailers, he's one of the other biggest ones. I mean, if you can't have a trailer, you can't get to the racetrack with your go-karts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you actually about Mike Dickerson. I mean, he's been around, especially in this building and this event, for a long time, and he's been one of the best to do it for a long time. So I'm sure that's been a pretty big deal for you.
Yeah, he wasn't here last year, but he is going to be here this year, and we're going to have the same looking go-kart, so it might be hard to tell, but he's only running super heavy, so that helps out a lot, I will say that.
Okay, so just one class for him, and then he's focused on you now.
Yep, I think he's got I think there's 2 super heavies each day, super heavy,
super
and then
heavy and
super
elite,
yep.
Okay.
And then just me for the rest of the time. I think I got 5 first day, 4 the second day, just like last year.
Wow, that's the next question is, again, for people watching this, there's 22 classes a day, and a lot of the kart racers are running 4, 5, 6 classes. But how do you keep up? Because obviously it's a physical effort to do it, but it's also a mental effort, and each class is different. How do you keep up with that kind of a pace during the day?
Here, thankfully, with there being 22 classes, I think, each day.
22.
And as many entries as there are. If you have 1,400, 1,500 entries, you're going to thankfully have that time between classes because, you qualify and it's 5 at a time, 5 laps. It's going to take a little bit. We start at, I think, 8, 9 in the morning practice and don't get done till sometimes we got done at 10, 11, 12 before. So, thankfully, you have that. And it helps with when you pit decently close to the grid, you can, get off the track, go right back out there. But there's not a lot of people that, since we live so far away, actually come to help. I mean, there's me and Dad. Like last year, it's just me, Dad, and my grandma. And she's the one that, runs back and forth, kind of lets me and Dad know where we're at in the running order. That, and then since they have pit row here, and race monitor. He'll have it pulled up on the TV in the trailer.
Okay,
and
Pit Row TV is doing a live stream.
And he'll watch that. He usually knows it's about a minute or minute and a half delayed, and he'll watch it and see where they're at. Because, with the prep that you have to do for here and just work on the tires, you have to be in the trailer constantly.
Yep.
Like, he'll, for most of my races, come out and watch, but I know there's been some here and some places where he just won't. Just because he doesn't have time for it. You got to keep going with the tires. If you stop, then you're just simply not going to have what you need.
Yep.
Yeah. A 2-man crew and the amount of classes that you run, that's impressive how you guys are able to do that.
Yeah, thankfully we have Mike here this year, which will help. But thankfully, the 22 classes, 5 classes, it's a lot, but they're still spread out fairly decently, which is really nice. And then having everything paved outside helps pushing, because some places are uphill and downhill, and that's sucks when you're trying to run back to the trailer and you have to push up a giant hill.
So where does this event rank on the scale of everything that you do in dirt kart racing every year? Where does this event rank and why?
I would, for me personally, say number 1, and I think Dad.
That's the right answer.
I think Dad
Good
would.
job.
It's got the most entries by far, and then with us racing Burris tires all year, and then racing 1 or 2 Maxxis races. And, most of the people run just Maxxis, and you have, people from the coast that just run Maxxis all year long. Winning against those people, it makes it feel 1,000 times better.
Because you have no notes whatsoever all year long on
it's
Maxxis.
just, it makes it so much better, especially, just some kid from Northwest Ohio.
Feels more rewarding.
Racing Maxxis once or twice a year and come down here and be able to compete. I mean, especially not only compete, but actually win a bunch of races. And that it's just like people really don't know even if you race or don't race the go-karts, how much work it takes for go-karts and for Batesville in general. It's, like I said, months and months out, and then it's just not, you can't really explain it unless you actually do it.
Yeah, and it's such a sort of an electric environment for 2 days, right? Because once you start practice, I mean, there is a break for the drivers' meeting, and then another break, and then qualifying, and then features. And once the next event on the schedule gets going, it's just frenetic from about 8 in the morning to 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night for you guys, and it's 2 long days. How do you keep yourself mentally sharp to drive the thing?
Stay hydrated. It's really hard though.
Yeah.
Because trust me, there's been years where I don't drink enough water, and you go out there, and basically when you go to if there's a yellow, put your hand out, and it just cramps so hard, and it's so painful, and you got to put your hand right back on the wheel. It's that, and with getting up at 7 in the morning and going on the track. I mean, a lot of times I go on the track half asleep still, because we're talking like Saturday morning. Last year, after the races, I was up till like 3:30, almost 4 o'clock.
Oh, wow.
Doing stuff in the pits. I just remember specifically getting a bunch of water for the RV to refill that. And me and Dad and Eric were just up running around getting stuff ready, and we have to be up at 7 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah.
And it's Saturday morning is definitely one of the toughest, because you're covered in dirt still, and you're so tired, and you're sore, and you got to go right back out, and it's cold. That doesn't help when it's freezing cold. It's 40 degrees out, and you got to go right back outside and get back in the go-kart. And it just, besides all the prep, it's definitely a toughness thing. It's just a different type of, it's not like any other sports like baseball or football or basketball of doing a second day of something, because like I said, with how the weather is, sometimes it'll rain, it can be windy, you're being sore, running on an hour or 2 of sleep. It's a lot.
It is a lot, that's for sure. Well, Cole, we are looking forward to seeing what you can do this year to try and keep the winning streak alive here, and wish you the best for good, safe, competitive racing this weekend. We appreciate you joining us on the Tom Baker Show, and again, good luck and be safe this weekend.
Thank you for having me. I'll try my best to hopefully do what we did last year. Like I said, it takes a lot of luck. Not just you can have everything on point and still get taken out or just not have the luck you need. I mean, it still takes a lot of luck.
Absolutely. We're going to take a break. More of the Tom Baker Show live from the Batesville Civic Center. The 35th Annual O'Reilly Auto Parts National Indoor Kart Championship is coming this weekend, and we are here and on top of it. Back with more in a moment.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
Welcome back to the Tom Baker Show, live from the Batesville Civic Center. What you're looking at behind us is the track that our second guest, Sean Knuckles, as well as Cole Heward, and the rest of the 1,400 plus entries we're going to have here for this Thanksgiving weekend spectacular are going to be competing on. It is an indoor track, Hayden, and this track obviously does not exist all year. The dirt is brought in, the track is formed, the barriers are put in around it. Takes a couple of weeks to do all of that, and the prize money here is pretty vast.
Yeah, over $55,000 in first place prize money, and it only goes up by about $1,000 every year. And not only that, but over $100,000 in total purse. And for a kart race, and even into the big cars, like $100,000 purse is a lot of money.
It is, yeah, for sure. And again, 22 classes a day. Sean Knuckles, a veteran of this particular event and kart racing in general for a long time. What does this event mean to you? I mean, you've been very successful here. You've won a bunch of slots. What does this event mean to you?
It means a lot to me. I look forward to this weekend every year. I take the whole week off of work just to come here. I've done that for the last 6-7 years. I can remember racing junior sportsman champ at Tunica and like a rookie class at Memphis, and just been doing this weekend for a long time.
Well, this is obviously a one-off. There's nothing else like this event in dirt karting. There are other indoor events, but nothing that approaches either the entries or the sort of pomp and circumstance. So, you know, on your scale of karting that you do all year, where does this rank?
Well, I think that's why I like it so much. It's definitely my favorite race of the year by far, and not just in karting. It's not my favorite. Not only my favorite race weekend, it's my favorite weekend of the whole year. Like, you know, river days, lake days, I would rather be here. I love this place so much.
That's how we all are, right?
And I think
the guy's got a broken collarbone right now.
I think it being a one-off is why I like it so much, because I don't get to race that much, and I feel like when I come here, I'm not at a disadvantage because nobody else races here but once a year too.
That's a great way to look at it, Hayden, because it's a neutral site.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And yeah, you just pointed it there. You've been one of the best inside this building with the unlimited and the small block, and you were able to get an elite win last year, $3,400. What did that mean to you?
It was crazy. I couldn't believe it. Just hearing you say that, I still don't believe it. It's crazy. It just all seems like a blur. I mean, it's the biggest win. I mean, I've raced modifieds. I've raced, everything with four wheels, and that's the biggest payout I've ever had. So it's huge.
Okay, So I want to know, because again, for our audience watching who's not familiar with this kind of racing, obviously most of the karts, you've got clone motors, 4-cycle kind of stuff. The unlimited and small block divisions are basically run what you brung. Now, explain in a little bit of detail for those who, again, are unfamiliar. Unlimited is, talk about what motors, what do people do? Because, I've seen a couple times people put 2 motors on their car or whatever. Explain the whole unlimited small block and how much different it is to drive on this tiny little track than a regular 4-cycle motor.
I may not be the best guy to explain that, but I like the horsepower stuff. That's just basically the Pro Unlimited is just bring all the horsepower you can and hope you can put it to the ground. And honestly, it's the same thing with small block. Just because they're small block motors doesn't mean they're way too much horsepower for this small track. And that's what makes them so fun, is that people do make mistakes in these things because they're so much harder to drive. You're not just, in a train around there.
Yeah.
You're sideways, and sometimes you go in a little too hot and miss the corner and you get under somebody, and that's just what makes it so much fun to me.
I think it's kind of like a great equalizer a little bit. It kind of takes the tires away just a little bit, and kind of puts it a little bit more on the drivers, and that's what I really like about those 2
100%.
classes.
I couldn't agree more. I like most of the time I do my own tires. There's been times where I've had people do my tires, and I've had success both ways. And so in my mind, that's what tells me that tires aren't the biggest deal in those types of classes. You know?
I was actually going to ask what is the differences when it comes to prepping for this event or indoor events, from the difference between like clone classes and the unlimited.
Well, like I said, I may not be the best guy to ask that because I don't really clone race. I don't predator race, and I honestly don't race go-karts that much in general.
Right.
You've got a big car that you run.
Yeah, through the summer I mostly run like a UMP modified.
Okay.
And
Four
so
wins this year.
I don't really race a lot of go-karts. Honestly, for 5 years straight, I would just run the King of Kings and Batesville.
Oh,
I would
wow.
run 2 races
Okay.
a year. I
didn't realize that.
Yeah, and then now this past year my son has started racing, and so he's raced 24 times this year in his go-kart on his first year. So that I've raced pretty much every time he races. So that's the most go-kart racing I've done since I was a kid. So
I was actually at the event where his throttle hung at King of Kings, and the track guys were trying to pull it, and one guy lunged for it and ended up getting it. Most athletic thing I'd ever
You just
seen.
got my heart racing again all over, man. That scared me.
And now you have it inside the Civic Center. Oh.
Yeah, they're like.
I see Mom over there. She's
she was a lot more cool and collective than I was. I was like, stop him! I was like, he raised his right foot up, and they told him that his throttle was hung, which was I was impressed by. He even knew to do that. And then I was like, well, at this rate, he'll be out of gas in 45 minutes.
We'll wait it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't, and that's, I used to race go-karts. You don't think about the throttle issue for whatever reason in a go-kart, because I don't think it happens that often.
Well, it wasn't that. What happened, he spun out, and a corner worker fell on him. And it bent the throttle down.
Okay.
So it wasn't like the cable or anything, because it was all, like, he has nicer stuff than I ever had, because I'm just so ready for him to do good. So, he wasn't like anything failed. It just, something got bent.
So how is it different coming here? Now you're going to race here too, but how is it different coming here now as dad than it was just as Sean the driver?
Let you know tomorrow. No, I'll tell you what. I was out in the shop all day yesterday. Got everything loaded about 10 p.m. and I walked inside and they were both asleep. And I said, "Get the motor home. We're going right now. I can't wait." So we got here about 2 o'clock this morning, and I just can't wait. So
that really is, for those watching it who aren't familiar with this event, that's how everybody is. We count the days down from about a month out. Aiden and I are talking about what we're going to do in the booth and on the show, and Sean's prepping the carts, and you just want to get here because it's such a magical event. And O'Reilly Auto Parts saw that and started as our title sponsor almost 20 years ago. And when you start getting sponsors like O'Reilly Auto Parts and Ashley Furniture and the various sponsors we have, that the event is transcended karting itself, because you've got outside of the industry sponsors that are a part of this. And, here you are saying, I can't wait any longer. We got to get on the road because I want to get there. And you've been doing this a long time.
Yeah, it's amazing. And it's more than just the racing here. Like, the fact that today is Thanksgiving and there's this many people here, it's like our family Thanksgiving gathering.
It's a family reunion.
It's like
exactly what
we
got
going friends that we see here that we don't see anywhere else, and we'll go have a turkey sandwich with them. It's cool.
It's like the Chili Bowl. You go and see everybody once a year, and
it's
you
an
only
event
see them
like
once.
no other.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really is. So how long have you been racing the modified?
Since I was like 14 or 15.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I got raced go-karts to like 13 or 14, and then I got a 4-cylinder, and then a street stock, and then a mod light.
So you moved up the...
Yeah, like I said, I've pretty much raced everything.
Okay.
And then, like, I started racing go-karts whenever I was 5, and, I turned 14, and we went to get a big car, and we'll run that, and then we'll sell all the go-kart stuff, and then come wintertime, we'll always buy more go-kart stuff because we just can't stay away. We've go-kart
So you
raced.
sell it with the idea that that's it, I'm done, and then you always go
Yeah,
back
we're
to it
going to
'cause
focus on big car racing and then use all winter to prep, and then come wintertime, we're like, we need a go-kart.
Okay. Well, you can't miss Batesville.
Exactly.
You gotta have a cart for Batesville.
Exactly.
How many years have you come here?
I don't know specifically. I would say definitely the last like 10 or 11 in a row.
Wow.
And then I did, like I said, I've been to the Thunderdome, and I went to Tunica, I went to Tupelo.
So you've been doing it a while.
Yeah. I mean, as a kid, I raced junior sportsman champ, like the purple and then the blue, and then, we'd come back and run junior champ, and then at 15, we would come run Pro Unlimited, because once you get into big cars and all those horsepower, when you get back into a go-kart, you want horsepower there too. So at 15, I was running the Pro Unlimited and stuff like that. So
that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Tupelo. That show happened one time.
Yeah, I was
Jam
there.
Promotions put on an event at Tupelo, and it was, I think it was New Year's weekend, right?
I don't
New Year's
remember.
event, or
I don't
it was
remember.
I don't remember when it, but I remember being there, and of course, a much smaller event than we have here at Batesville, and it was kind of one and done, and not for any negative reason, but it's funny you mentioned that, because that's the only time that Jam Promotions has stepped outside of this particular event to do a second event. And I think what everybody found was it's hard enough to do one of these without trying to follow it right up with another one. So, everybody kind of, okay, let's just go back down to the event. But you've been around enough to see all of the transitions.
Absolutely.
From the Thunderdome to the Paul Battle Arena in Tunica, now to here in Batesville at the Civic Center. And the event's different in each of those places, right? But we've settled in here at Batesville, and as much as we've been here for years and years and years, every year it's different because the track's different.
Yeah, I often think about, like, on my drive here, I'll think about what all goes into this deal and how long it takes them to prep and when do they start planning and this and that. I'm like, it's mind-blowing what they
really
probably have to do to plan this event,
I think people have this impression of go-karting as sort of, a little hobby, and you have a, I don't want to say hole in the wall, but you have a little local track somewhere and you just go and race. When you come to an event like this, it's as much or more work than going and running your modified somewhere, right?
Yeah, I can remember a story back in the day whenever, friends from back home would be like, talking to my dad, when are you going to let him move up to a big car? And he's like, I've never been to a big car race with 1,400 entries. I wouldn't call it moving up.
Well, that's it, right? I mean, it's crazy. The Tulsa shootout will equal us in terms of the micro sprint part of it, but it's a whole week.
Yeah.
Right? And so, this is 2 days, Friday and Saturday. What's the pace like? And of course, you don't run as many classes as some do, but I mean, it's got to be amazing even to try to keep up with the track from the beginning of practice to say the first feature, the track is not going to be the same.
Yeah, it's not, I don't know, I wouldn't say it's difficult for me, like just running 2 classes because it's so spread out. But I tell you what, I enjoy the heck out of it because I come in here and sit in the stands, and I'm as big of a fan as I am a race car driver. Like, I love sitting up there and watching the races, and I think I've told you before, a lot of people don't tune into qualifying, but you make qualifying actually interesting. I've told you that before. It's awesome.
I think it's the most interesting part of the day.
See, that's the thing. People tell me that a lot, and I always appreciate the compliment. The reality is, it's the drivers and it's the format, because as we talked about with Cole Heward in our first segment, qualifying here, one chance. You get one shot. You get 4 laps to qualify in, and people are missing by a thousandth or a few thousandths of a second. It is intense. It's like nothing else.
Yeah, I know, and I'll be up here watching my phone, and you say like a guy runs 21st by a thousandth of a second. You're like, you just feel the heartbreak for him,
Yep.
So it's exciting.
It's crazy. And Hayden, you've done this too. You've been a racer and you understand. It's like it is such a game of inches. I feel like you've got to run the perfect line, have the perfect setup, the perfect prep at the all of it's got to come together. And you're out there for 4 laps, which is about 30 seconds.
Yeah,
it feels like less than a minute.
Yeah, it's all the build up for qualifying, and then when it's
you're
over,
out there
it's
for
like
30 seconds.
it's
like
over.
a blink of an eye.
That just made my whole weekend was those 4 laps. Did or didn't. It's crazy.
It really is crazy.
Like, you spend more time on the scales after the fact than you do on the racetrack.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to step aside. When we come back, more of the Tom Baker Show live from the Batesville Civic Center in Batesville, Mississippi. Stay with us.
For race fans across the United States, GetInTheStands.com is the place to find racetracks where you live and where you're traveling. Just go to GetInTheStands.com and enter your location. You'll see the tracks within 100 miles of that point, either as a list or on a map. GetInTheStands.com is 100% free to use and mobile friendly. So whether you're on a computer, a tablet, or on your phone, there's no need to download an app. To find racetracks across the United States, open your web browser and head to GetInTheStands.com. GetInTheStands.com, your racetrack directory.
For over 50 years, FHS Superior Synthetic Oil has powered high-performance engines with unbeatable protection and speed. Whether it's drag racing, go-karts, sprint cars, stock cars, or your daily driver, FHS stands for high speed and delivers every time. Their advanced synthetic oils boost your engine's responsiveness, acceleration, and efficiency, giving you the winning edge on every lap. Visit FHSoil.com today to find the right products for your engine. FHSoil.com.
Attention track and series owners, elevate your fan experience with the TrackTune app. TrackTune works with your PA system. Fans and teams at the track can hear the announcers through their phones, ensuring everyone hears race calls, sponsor plugs, and more during race nights. It's simple to set up, affordable, and free for fans to download and enjoy. Visit tracktune.live for all the details and join tracks nationwide on the app today.
Welcome back as we wrap things up here from the Batesville Civic Center in Batesville, Mississippi. Sean Knuckles, one of the racers here, looking to win at least one more bronze slot this weekend, but also as your young son starting in the rookie class, so transitioning into dad mode here. And I know you can't do all this stuff by yourself, so who helps you make all this happen? Thank anybody you need to.
Yeah, mainly my dad. He puts in so much time on our motors and stuff like that. I mean, if we ever needed anything, he'd be the first one to do it, or he'd come up with a better way to do it. My in-laws, David and Angela, they have really helped us out a bunch. Anything we need, especially Chase, like if he needs it, he gets it, And then just little sponsors like, FTS, Todd Hall, he helps me a lot. Russian Towing, that's a Wrap Graphics. They do all of our graphics, and they do such a good job. They're always done on time. And then everything from just people coming over and being there for moral support. People like that just mean the world.
100%, and that's what it's all about here at the Batesville Civic Center. Hayden Benson, as we wrap this thing up, getting ready to watch 44 classes over the next 2 days take to the track. What are you looking for in a sentence or two this weekend here at Batesville?
Well, we've got some of the best dirt kart racers in the country coming, so a lot from the coast, and it's going to be a lot of fun, over 1,400 entries. Looking for that record. I don't know if we'll get it, but hopefully we can, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
1504 is the record. We may not get quite there, but 1,400 is a lot. And this event always live on Pit Row TV. And also, before we wrap this up, want to give a special shout out and a thank you to Jeff Hoisington and Rage Karts. Rage Karts coming on board as a partner in support of this particular show. Jeff has sold Rage Karts, but is maintaining a Rage Karts dealership in Ohio. And Jeff, of course, and Rage Karts been a fixture in Champ Kart racing for many, many years. And Jeff, a legend in our sport, and want to wish Jeff all the best after 25 years or so, and now gets to still keep his hand in it with the dealership, but step back a little bit. We wish the new ownership group nothing but the best. RageKarts.com and RageKartsOhio.com, and we'll tell you more about Jeff. We may even have him on a future show if he wants to come on, but we'll definitely tell you more on a future show about that. So thanks to Jeff, and also thanks to the good folks, Dustin Bell and the folks from Superior Graphics, as they also a part of the show here. And if you need graphics for anything, your sprint car, your go-kart, whatever it is, Superior Graphics LLC on Facebook. And thanks again to Dustin for jumping on board as well. We appreciate all of our sponsors and look forward to what's coming up this weekend, but we'll be back for another Tom Baker show in about a week or so. Until then, for more great content, SteeringWheelNation.com and at The Wheel Nation on Facebook, Instagram, and X. I'm Tom Baker. Thanks for watching.